Hello, 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 all you insane ARPG fanatics. Just getting into some crazy stuff and you're grinding on some Diablo 4 and you got some questions for yourself on how the whole new league system works, or the seasons I should say, for Diablo 4. I just wanted to kind of showcase what it might look like for Diablo 4 players. As you see here I'm obviously logged into Path of Exile's character select, and I've got several characters that have been for, several leagues over, and on my account I've deleted several, and I have some that are still there, some that are still viable, some that are still whatever, it doesn't matter. These are characters that I have created along the way, and as you can see on the bottom right text for each player name, it describes what league they're in. Now, as you see a lot of these standard league accounts, this is basically what is going to be called the new Eternal League for Diablo 4. I'm going to go ahead and log in on the current character I'm messing with right now. It is a Frostblades character that I had that I wanted to theory craft a new build with, and I kind of want to shine some light on why this is so fun and why this is so beneficial towards characters like this, because every 3 to 4 months we get a new league that implements a new league mechanic and or a interaction with some sort of an expansion. We are currently in a Crucible League, but I am in Standard League right now. If you see on the side of the, where's it at? Okay, if you see on the top right of my screen, it'll say I am in Standard League, which means this was a previous character from a previous league that didn't die. It's just transferred over to the Standard account, which is, I guess, would be equivalent to the Eternal. What's really cool about this is if you see, I go to my passives and it says I have a full passive reset available to my character, which means that okay, and it's like I can unallocate something or whatever. I can reset all passives. I can lock in a new skill point, and then it would lock in all of this previous allocated points. This is from my previous playthrough, all of these allocated points, and I would be able to keep them the same. I have the option to reset all of them. I would imagine this is kind of similar to how the Diablo 4 reset would go. It seems like it's taking a lot of liberty and inspiration or whatever from Path of Exile's live service model, or live service model, and implementing something along those lines. As you know, this is something that's been prevalent in PoE for a while, but this is something I think the casual players of Diablo 4 need to realize, is that these characters are not going away. They're going to be there. I am in the Blood Aqueduct level 61. This is just how the scaling works in Path of Exile. Scaling goes up as you level through. It's not the same scaling. The monsters don't scale to you. The zone scales to you, which I prefer, but that's another video for itself. But anyway, my point I'm trying to say is that this is a Standard League character, which means I do not have access to the Standard Crucible League. But what I have access to is this character in the Eternal Realm. And so what I'm doing here is I'm in a lower level area and I want to try out a new build. And I'm going to use this sword here, which is one of my favorite uniques in the game because it's so underrated. And I used to make it work way back in the day, but it's like a hopeless dream. It's really hard to like make this sword work for you. There's a couple of things that can work for it, but I'm simply just, I don't know, a cuck for the sword. I love the sword. I want to make this sword work all the time. It never really does. I can do something crazy. You can min-max and get another build going, but I'm just going to go with the standard good old Flicker Strike. This is actually a Frostblades Raider that I had before this, and it never really worked out. I mean, the Frostblades Raider was great. Obviously I got it to level 94, but it's like I just kind of want to like see what Flicker Strike looks like. It's one of the like weirdest skills in the game. It's kind of like it zooms to the next character and does like an attack, and then they just released a new Vol skill, which is Vol Flicker Strike. The last patch, if it wasn't the last one, it was Calandra League 319, I'm pretty sure. But the way Flicker Strike works is you expend a Flicker Strike to negate the cooldown so that you can teleport to an enemy and hit them with a melee attack. I currently have, what are these called again? Southbounds, which honestly I should take these off because this is terrible. I'm not gonna kill anything unless they're frozen, but I got a lot of crit strike, so it's kind of where I'm at. And see right here, I don't have any frenzy charges. It's just kind of bad. I'm on a 2-link. Good sword, good damage. Everything's spec'd towards like doing good damage on this scale of the map. However, there's a lot that needs to be done to make this viable for endgame. But that's what I kind of want to highlight about what's so fun about having resets. And I think that's what people need to realize about how cool resets can be. I played a bit of Diablo 4, not like a whole lot of hours like everybody else. I think my main character, which is a Ice Shards sorcerer, is about to hit level 60 soon, and I'm gonna try to get to World Tier 4. World Tier 4 is my next goal, and I'm close to that, if that gives you any type of idea of where I'm at in the gameplay. The reason I wanted to showcase this is because I wanted to like show people why this is a good model for ARPGs. So we see here when I go to my passive skill, this is after the reset from the last league, so you'll automatically get addressed with this text saying you're granted a full passive respec. And in PoE that's pretty solid because it takes a lot to respec in PoE. But if I don't do anything to it, it's going to keep the same notables I had, unless the game itself changes dramatically to a point where it gets rid of things on the tree and it reorganizes the tree. This is basically a fantastic tool, and this is for all characters. You can go in and you can retwerk all this stuff, and we're coming up onto a new league, so I can theory craft and I can rework. I get a free reset off this just on standard for the first time through, because since Crucible League happened, this was my previous character. I get a free passive reset, so I can kind of like theory craft and create a new character, which I've kind of been doing. This is my claw and my shield that was on this character before. I just threw an Oros on to try Flicker Strike out, just to kind of be in that realm of what it was. This is a Flicker Strike, or I'm sorry, this is a Frostblades character that I just kind of threw a 2-link Oros on. And you see me on the 2-link Oros just kind of theory crafting through the game and trying to create a new idea of what a build I can create. And I think that's why this type of model works really well for the game. For those who don't know, I am a very casual Andy. I do not have a lot of hours to put into these games. On the weekends, I do tend to put in a lot of hours. I would be considered probably a little zoomier than the average person, but on a league launch, I can clear all 10 acts within like 8 to 10 hours. That's how I do it. I am not a zoomer in the high-end sense, but I am not a casual player in the low-end sense, so I'm kind of somewhere in between. But I do work a full-time job, 9 to 5, and I kind of just want to showcase what could possibly be beneficial towards a reset model like PoE has. I have all these characters to choose from. They're all in Standard League. They're not going away. They stay there. I have them for forever. For instance, where's my witch at? I have one character that has been there forever. Where's she at? Hold on. Well, I don't see her. I might have got rid of her, to be honest, because you only have a set amount. But anyways, it's all these characters that you see that are on standard, this is what the Eternal Realm is going to be. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to die. They're going to stay there. You can continue to play. But if I were to go into one of my standard accounts, so we're currently in Crucible League. Do I have access to the current Crucible League? No, I do not. But I have access to everything else. And if you look here in the Atlas skill tree on PoE, this is the tree that you see when you enter endgame in Path of Exile, when you're doing maps and stuff. This is going to allocate notables that are going to be beneficial towards the content that you want to run. For instance, here, let's say I want to run Legion characters, Legion farming or whatever. There's Legion notables that are going to spawn this current mechanic. This is a mechanic that was introduced to the game several years ago, and it has been brought into the base game. This is one of many examples, and it's on your endgame passive skill tree. As you complete what would be considered like nightmare sigils for Diablo, you will unlock passive skill points to create ways to spawn more of this type of content. And I think Diablo 4 could really benefit from this type of model. It seems like they're trying to go off of our model for how content is done, but this is where all content goes. So what it means is, if you get into Diablo 4's first expansion and it goes core, that means that it goes part of the core game. That's how PoE did it for a long time. Not every expansion goes core. However, the ones that stick do go core. So it's like it's not that big of a deal if you don't want to play the end game of every expansion. It doesn't mean you're not going to be able to experience the expansion. It can go core and be a part of the base game. And I think if Diablo 4 does that, that would be the best bet for it. It's allowing the game to expand and add new content to the game, and then if it is successful, it's added to the base content of the game. Do you have to re-roll and start from fresh with a new character if you want to play the new content of the game? Unfortunately, yes, that's how it's going to work. But if you do not, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will not be able to experience those previous expansions, as you see here with my character. All the expansions are here. We have the Atlas of the Worlds, we have Harvest, we have Harbinger, we have Legion, we have Delirium, we have all these different League mechanics that have come and gone for the last 10 years, but some of them have stuck with the core bit of the game. And I would hope that Diablo 4 does that for its player base, adds that to the core of the game. So I just wanted to kind of hop on one of my standard characters to kind of show you how this works. Let me go back to character select to kind of solidify it, knowing that yes, this is a character that does not have access to the current league that we're in right now. As you see, it says standard on the bottom right of the text of a character select. But if I was to go into my my current character, my current farmer, I am in the current league right now. This is a league character. I am currently in the league, and I am experiencing all of the new league content with this playthrough. So you start a character from scratch, from level 1, and you make it happen, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's just kind of how this type of game model works. Doesn't mean that you are missing out on any of the new stuff, but it just means that you might want to roll a character to experience new league content, especially if you find that new league content appealing. If you find it appealing, then you're gonna want to roll a new character. And I understand super casual people that are like, I only have maybe 2 or 3 hours on a day to play the video game. That's fine. That's what the Eternal Realm is for. That's what Standard is for. It doesn't mean you're going to be missing out. It just means you're not going to get that content, that league. Hopefully Diablo 4 adapts that mentality where successful leagues will go to the base core of the game. I'm just going to go ahead and run this because I want to run some crazy nonsense. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that if you have a game that has like a set way to farm or a set way to go through things and whatnot, you want to obviously be a part of it. So I understand the fear of missing out on new content and all this kind of stuff. But if you're a super casual Andy that's literally got an hour or two to play, and you got kids, and it's not really viable for you to do what you got to do, it's very understandable. It really is. But that doesn't mean you're going to miss out from the entire picture. You're going to have a character that's going to be able to access all that type of content through the standard account, and it's as simple as that. It's just one of those things, you know. Either you're understanding how it works or you don't understand how it works. And if you feel like you're missing out, then you have to really understand that you're a minority on that aspect. You can't expect a game developer to, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to click this, but you can't expect a game developer to cater towards such a casual audience without at least recognizing the player base that made it possible to do what they're doing. It's a fine balance between the two. You have to cater towards the hardcore audience and the casual audience. And I think Diablo 4 is doing a really good job of that. They just need to kind of be more clear with how it works. But this video is basically almost over. I'll go ahead and just run this through, but I'm just saying that, you know, these games are typically very grindy. If you're going to be the type of person that doesn't have time to put in the effort into these types of games, then maybe it isn't your genre of choice. However, if you want to slowly play through these games, I would highly recommend you just stick to the Eternal Realm and the or Standard League is what we would call it on PoE, because that's going to be most beneficial to you. But I figure I just basically wanted to like state that in this whole showcase, kind of give you an idea of like what it looks like to have eternal characters, what it looks like to have current characters. You know, I'm doing stuff in this build that you cannot do in the current state of the game, but next patch, once we get the new league, this is going to transfer over to the previous league if it goes core. Basically meaning it's a bit of a gamble, sure. Does a league mechanic go core? It doesn't always go core, no. But often enough times things go core because the developers want content. You want content in these games. Path of Exile is a video game that's had over 10 years plus of content, and how you engage in this content in the end game is what makes Path of Exile so different than others. Basically, what I want to say is that it's not that big of a deal if you look at it through the correct lens. This is a video game that is a grindy video game, and honestly I would consider Diablo IV much more grindy than Path of Exile. Some of the uniques are insane. It's pretty crazy. The economy needs a little bit of work. There's a lot of stuff that needs a bit of work. That'll be for another episode. But what I want to basically press to people on this episode is that your characters aren't going anywhere. You're going to be able to play your standard characters, and the best part about Path of Exile is that there's new leagues coming and going, and it'll enable you to mess around with your previous characters in theorycraft and create new builds, and you get automatic resets because of the way it works. So it just leads itself into being like a perfect ebb and flow with the whole cruxus of the situation. Like, I've known friends that have, I don't like this current league, I'm just going to play my standard character and keep going with what I was doing before and try to do pinnacle bosses and all that stuff. And it's viable, it's completely fine. And I've known plenty of friends that are just like, we have to play the new league, restart. And that's how we are, is very grindy. If you're the type of person who has got, you know, an hour or two a day, if that, you know, to play this game, stay in the Eternal Realm, stay in Standard. You're not going to miss out on anything that you don't want to miss out on. If you want to be a part of the new content, re-roll a new character and be a part of it. Hopefully, after that period of time, it gets introduced to the core base of the game. This game has literally over 10 years of content built into this passive Atlas skill tree. I know it's hard to like understand or comprehend, but these are different skill mechanics that we can spec into how we want to tailor make our end game experience. That's what makes Path of Exile so fun. And there's a decade worth of content to do. There's several leagues of content that are baked into the core of the game that are all available for standard characters. You don't miss out on it. You don't lose your character. It'll still be there. It's fine. I just wanted to make this quick video to try to like shine some light on how I think Diablo 4 is going to go about their end game. I'm a casual Andy, console player, just trying to show my like 2 cents on how this works. Thank y'all for watching the video. If you like it, please, subscribe, like the channel, show it to your friends, all that nonsense, how the algorithm stuff works. But either way, I'm gonna sign off for now.